Okay, so once the record is highlighted, the record that you're looking for is highlighted, then you know that you can either scroll to the right to get additional information like phone number, contact, without going to the full detail record, which I'm going to take you into, which is the edit screen. Okay, so by double click on the highlighted record or by click on edit here, either one, double click here or here, will take you into the full edit screen of that record. Okay, so here what you have is an edit screen of that company, Control Manufacturing Company, in this example. And these are the fields that are related to this particular customer. Namely, the first screen is the basic information, contact information, name, address, 123, city, state, zip code. In addition, you have the primary phone number 1 to 5, so 5 different primary contact numbers. And you have a fax number, dedicated fax number field. Notice the phone numbers are formatted in the parentheses area code format. Email address, that's the primary email address for the company. Website address. Here you have the main contact salutation, Mr., Mrs., first name, last name, middle initial. Customer number, that is a numeric sequential number that's auto-generated by the system, so it's unique. There's no duplication in the system at all, and the system automatically assigns that number for each new record or each new customer that you add to the system. Okay, customer code, that's an alphanumeric code that the end user can easily assign. We recommend that it's usually part of a company name, like CONTRO in this case, and if they happen to be close, they can number it like control 1, control 2, and so forth. So that's another way for them to look up without using the full company name. But typically, most people, for the end user, they use a company name because it's easy to recognize, easy to search. Most people don't remember the customer number anyways, okay? Because that's not, it's hard to relate to. So typically, most people would search by company name. And the next criteria usually by customer code. Category, you can break down the customer, you can assign a different category, different categories for the company based on what, for example, what industry they're in, whether it's aerospace, whether it's medical, whether it's automotive, whether it's military, things like that. So category. Status, another user-defined field where they can assign a numeric value from 0 to 2 digits, so 0 to 99, or actually 10 digits. And again, they use it for internal classification of that customer. So if this customer is a 1, then it's under group 1. Okay, so you can use that to sort for sorting, for printing reports. You understand? You know, when you have a whole bunch of customers, you want to group them and say, okay, they're under customer status 1, or status 2, or status 3. So that's what they use for. Uh, yeah, different groups. Yeah, different groups. Okay, different groups. Like the top 10 customer, you can say, okay, they're a good customer, so you give them a status of 1. Or if they are, you know, just potential contacts, then you may want to label it as 99. So you can quickly filter. I'm going to go back into the other screen and show you what the filter, how the filter is used. But for now, that's what it's for. In addition to some of the fields that you see here, another thing I want to point out is that when you right click on a field, it shows you what the field name is. What's the field name, okay, in the database? So cust status is what the field name relating to this field, okay, in the file. Right click, field name, and it says what type, whether it's numeric type and how wide it is, how many characters, how many digits it can save in that field. Okay? Okay with that? Sales rep, that's like who's the representative, who's the main account sales rep for this customer. So for control manufacturing, you can assign, let's say, a DL for who's that, Dan? Okay, Dan will be the main sales rep for this account. And the reason why you want to assign a sales rep is when you run like sales report, you can say what's the commission. You can calculate commission. You can filter out and say, give me a list of all Dan's account, DL account. You can say, okay, If you want Dan to follow up and call customers, you can generate a list only for Dan, and he will not be able to see, or he will not receive a list from for somebody else. So that's the reason why you want to assign sales rep. Remarks, that's just any notes that you want to put in here. For example, don't call before 5, or don't call before uh, before noon. Okay, excuse me, as an example. So you have 2 lines here for the primary contact information. There's Yes, that's a good question. I will show you in the next video on how to set up the various lookup drop down. In this case, you have only one drop down list, but in other screens you may have more. But I will show you where to maintain that list. Okay, so this concludes the first first edit screen for the customer